Dashboard Confessional is an American emo band from Boca Raton, Florida, led by singer-songwriter Chris Carrabba. The name of the band is derived from the song The Sharp Hint of New Tears from their debut album The Swiss Army Romance. Early history. Dashboard Confessional's first recording was the 2000 LP The Swiss Army Romance, initially a solo side project of Chris Carrabba while he was in the band Further Seems Forever. The following year, Further Seems Forever, with Chris Carrabba, recorded and released its debut album, The Moon Is Down. Carrabba soon thereafter left the band to record and release his second solo album, The Places You Have Come to Fear the Most, and a follow-up EP, So Impossible. Both were released under the name Dashboard Confessional. By 2002, 3 other musicians had joined the band, including former Further Seems Forever bandmate Jerry Castellanos, and started the process of recording the band's next album. After the success of his second album, Carrabba was asked to perform on MTV Unplugged, and the subsequent live release marked the first time many of the songs were recorded with a full band. Also in 2002, the music video for Screaming Infidelities won the MTV2 award at the MTV Video Music Awards, beating out Norah Jones, The Strokes, The Hives, Nappy Roots, and Music. This video starred Chris in both the performance and a storyline. The video was directed by Maureen Egan and Matthew Barry. A Mark, a Mission, a Brand, a Scar. In 2003, the band released its third album, A Mark, a Mission, a Brand, a Scar. Peaking at No. 2 on the United States Billboard charts, the album proved to be the band's most commercially viable album yet. In the fall of 2003, Dashboard Confessional toured with Brand New. In the summer of 2004, Dashboard Confessional recorded the song Vindicated for the film Spider-Man 2. It was featured on the soundtrack and played over the film's end credits. Due to such usage, the band gained a sizable audience for their next release the following summer, Dusk and Summer. Vindicated was not, however, released on A Mark, a Mission, a Brand, a Scar but was included on most versions and deluxe edition versions of Dusk and Summer. Dusk and Summer. In May 2005, Dashboard Confessional entered the studio to record their fourth album with acclaimed producer Daniel Lanois. The album, Dusk and Summer, was released on June 27, 2006. Its first single was Don't Wait. Following the release of Dusk and Summer, Dashboard Confessional went on a summer tour of the U.S. with special guests Say Anything and Ben Lee, followed by co-headlining an arena tour with alternative rock band Brand New. The Shade of Poison Trees. In 2007, the band released its follow-up to Dusk and Summer, The Shade of Poison Trees. Unlike its predecessor, this album reflects back on the earlier influence of Carrabba's acoustic harmonies from the Swiss Army Romance and The Places You Have Come to Fear the Most. Alter the Ending. The band began recording their sixth studio album, Alter the Ending, in 2008. Carrabba stated that the album could have turned into a concept album. Only with the last 3 has it become, like, alright, these have a continuity and there's something going on, so I'm excited to see where that leads. On February 14, 2009, as a special Valentine's Day gift to fans, Carrabba released a free download on his MySpace page entitled Even Now from their forthcoming studio album. In June 2009, the band began sequencing the album, suggesting that the upcoming album was close to completion. In August 2009, Dashboard Confessional contributed a song to the motion picture soundtrack for dark comedy film Jennifer's Body, titled Finishing School. It was not featured on Alter the Ending. On September 10, 2009, Chris Carrabba confirmed on his Twitter page that the 12-song album would be released on November 10, 2009. It was found out that the album would be released on 2 discs, the first of which consisting of the full band version of the album and the second consisting of the acoustic version. In addition, Carrabba stated that Dashboard Confessional would be touring with New Found Glory and Never Shout Never in the near future. On October 30, 2009, however, Chris announced via Twitter and Facebook that, due to a last-minute family emergency, the band would be cancelling their All to the Ending tour with New Found Glory and Never Shout Never, with the exception of November 7 with the Louisville Orchestra. Although the longer tour with New Found Glory and Never Shout Never was cancelled, Chris announced on his website on November 10, 2009 that he and John will begin a 13-date acoustic tour with New Found Glory on November 30, 2009. The band performed as the opening act for the Bon Jovi Circle Tour in 2010. On July 31, 2010, Carrabba performed at the top of Pikes Peak in Colorado for the second annual Love Hope Strength Foundation and Health One Pikes Peak Rocks benefit, honoring cancer survivors and raising money and awareness for research and treatment. The Swiss Army Romance re-release. On October 4, 2010, it was announced that Dashboard Confessional's first album, The Swiss Army Romance, would be re-released as a deluxe vinyl album on November 16. The limited edition box set included remastered versions of the album's track listing, extended artwork, handwritten lyrics, unreleased photos, guitar picks, a commemorative tour laminate, all encased in an intricate Swiss Army knife case. The day after the release, Chris embarked on a solo tour playing the Swiss Army Romance in its entirety for the 10th anniversary of the release of the album. On December 1, it was announced that Chris Conley of Saves the Day was added to the tour as main support for the West Coast dates. Three-piece band Lady Danville joined them as well. Artistry, style and influences. The band's style is emo that takes the sound of indie rock and acoustic rock. Dashboard Confessional cites Jawbreaker, Joebox, The Beatles, Refused, Bruce Springsteen, Stevie Wonder, Minor Threat, The Beach Boys, The Descendants, Embrace, Sunny Day Real Estate, Rites of Spring, Weezer and Fugazi as their influences. Current lineup: Chris Carrabba Euro vocals, rhythm guitar, piano, John Leffler Euro lead guitar, piano, vocals, Scott Schoenbeck Euro bass, Mike Marsh Euro drums, percussion, past touring members, Dan Bonebreaker Euro bass guitar, backing vocals, John Ralston Euro guitar, Mike Stroud Euro strings, Jerry Castellanos Euro guitar, backing vocals, Andrew Marshall Euro guitar, Susan Shiraz Euro violin. Discography: studio albums, live albums, compilation albums, singles, EPs, references. External links: official website, review of The Shade of Poison Trees on Rock Louder Music website, review of The Shade. At the album project, in-depth interview with Chris Carrabba on Rock Louder January 2008, Polish website.